Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on September 24th, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So in terms of the news that came out today, the most important thing was the pound here. So Bank of England was quite bullish, and this is where we have seen the pound just took off as a result of the hawkishness or the bullishness that we saw from Bank of England. So just like we talked about yesterday, anytime the central bank talks about the monetary policy or tightening the monetary policy, raising interest rates, cutting back on the asset purchase program, that is good for the currency, and that was the case for pound today. Now coming up on Friday, and another thing that we saw today, the stock market took off as well, and that was because of the big drop that we had seen earlier in the week. A lot of buying came into the market, and again we have our stocks back where they back up again. So coming up here on Friday, we have the German IFO business climate numbers. This will have an impact on euro. Any sort of positive numbers above expectations will be positive for euro. But we also have Fed Chair Powell speaking. So at this point, it was hawkish, the Fed statement, and the stock market again took off, disregarded all of that. So looks like it's already in the price now. So at this point, I would not expect much of a change based on what he said. But if he pushes back the forward guidance, so this was the first time the Fed has provided the forward guidance that was they actually said the timings around that, so which we hadn't seen previously. So if anything changes from that perspective, or they push it back and instead of November, now they're talking about next year or something like that, that would be negative for the US dollar. But other than that, if everything is in line with what the Fed statement was on Wednesday, then we are not expecting much of a change in the US dollar. All right, let's take a look at the charts now. We'll start off with euro dollar. With euro, or overall US dollar basically took a hit because the stock market took off. And when stock market takes off, it is good for the stocks, bad for the currency. And hence we have seen the US dollar turn around. But also euro was into support as well. So if we zoom back here, we see prices into support. Last time price was here, it pushed off, and this is what we're seeing again today. Now, however, keep in mind though, price has traded in a range over the last week. This entire week, price has been stuck here. So now we do have a bullish candle close. Be cautious though. Here we could see price come back into the range, and that's what we have to be mindful about. If it doesn't go through 1.1750, we are back into the range once again. So right now I would say bullish bias with caution though. If it holds below 1.1750, we are looking at a range bound move. If it goes through though, then we have this big inefficient move that happened, the sharp move that happened, just like last time we saw this, and we could see similar scenario here as well. So I would say bullish bias, similar reaction last time as well. So bullish bias, caution here would be the resistance at 1.1750. If it holds below, we are back into the range. And also tomorrow is Friday. Fridays can be reversal days, so watch out for that. But right now, bullish bias with caution. Pound dollar here, pound is looking bullish here. All that hawkish sentiment from Bank of England, them talking about raising rates, all of that is good for the pound. So in this case, bullish bias here. Now we have seen a big bullish candle close. However, it's still in a range. We have not broken out of that range. This is where the week started, and we are still in that. And in this case, we are again looking for a retest of 1.3750. If it holds below, we're back into the range. But once it passes through, then again, we have a lot of room to the upside here. So bias is bullish with caution though. watch out for it getting stuck at 1.3750. Aussie dollar also looking bullish here. Price failed to go through this level 4 days in a row. It failed, and this is again, this was a place where price had turned around previously as well. So now it does look bullish. So bias is bullish here, and there is some resistance right into the top of today's candle. So watch out for that. But bullish bias, next target is 0.7350. So we saw a big reaction from Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, and that's because these are risk currencies. And when we see stock market go up, these ones will go up with the stock market, and they tend to decline with the stock market as well. So for now, bullish bias 0.7350 and 0.7380 are the next two targets. New Zealand dollar here, again, big move up from New Zealand dollar, and same thing, it's the relationship with the stock market. Now prices into resistance here. Watch out for this. This is where it has struggled previously. It got stuck above this level, and now we are back into this level from the other side. So here, if it fails to go through 0.7100, we could see a range bound move. Again, price has been stuck in this range for a little bit. So watch out for that. Bias is bullish with caution though. Anything below 0.7100, and we are looking for a range bound move. Dollar CAD here, dollar CAD dropped a fair bit. Part of that was because of US dollar dropping, and the rest was because of oil going up. So oil and Canadian dollar are related. When oil goes up, Canadian dollar goes up. And in this case, Canadian dollar is the second, and that's where we see the drop. So in this case, looks bearish now, and we are into support. So keep that in mind. This is an important support level, but it's looking bearish here. Next target is 1.2585. So bearish bias for dollar CAD. All right, let's take a look at our commodities, starting off with silver. We were looking for a drop. We got that, so it's still in the range. Now looking for a move towards the bottom of the range, but basically I'm expecting a range bound move here. 22.00 is the target, so bearish bias for silver. Gold as well, we were looking for a drop, got quite a drop here, and this has held the pattern. So we saw a drop, pullback, drop, pullback, and drop. So looking for a further move to the downside. Keep in mind, again, we are into support here. This is again an important support resistance level. So bearish bias, but we do need to see a break here for it to continue lower. So bearish bias for gold, target is 1720. Oil here looking quite bullish here. Next target is 73.80 and then 74.85. So bullish bias for oil. Copper looking neutral right now. And in this case, we may get a bit of a move to the downside. So looking for a retest of 4.25, which is the top here. And if it fails, looking for that turnaround. So neutral bias for copper. Bitcoin here, Bitcoin moved up with the stock market. The move to the downside was definitely bigger than the move to the upside, which shows that the momentum to the upside is lacking a bit. So in this case, bullish bias, but watch out for resistance into 45,700. And this is where we could see things turn around. This is a major support resistance level here. So bullish bias, just be cautious of the resistance coming up. S&P 500, a big move to the upside here. The move to the downside is now being recovered. So our buying came in just like we discussed previously. Every time market has dropped, buying has come in and pushed it back up. So here we are again. So looking quite bullish still. Now in this case, next target is 44.90, and this is where it could struggle. So keep an eye on that. But overall bias is bullish for S&P 500. 44.90 is the target. And then NASDAQ here, NASDAQ also looking bullish. It is into resistance though, so do keep an eye on that. Once it gets through this resistance, next target we're looking at is 15,550. So bullish bias here for NASDAQ as well. And then Dow Jones as well, looking very bullish here. And in the move to the downside, again, we have recovered that. Now price is coming into the resistance at 35,000. So this is where, watch out. We could see a reaction from that, especially after the big move to the upside. And Fridays, again, can be reversal days. So something to bear in mind here. So bullish bias here for Dow Jones. DAX also looking bullish, and now we are into resistance here. Again, keep that in mind, but this move to the downside is now getting reversed. So 15,780 is the target here. So bias here is bullish for DAX. And FTSE here, FTSE is FTSE dropped here, and this is normal because the central bank talked about raising rates and cutting back on the asset purchase program, which is negative for the stock market and positive for the currency. This is why we saw the pound, pound go up, but our FTSE has dropped. So in this case, we do see a bit of a bounce off of the support here. So I'm looking for retest of that and then potential move up. Just like we saw the Fed reaction was quite muted. Market didn't show much of a reaction because they had been talking about raising rates previously. We may see a similar behavior here. So if the other stock markets start dropping, FTSE is likely to follow as well. But if they go up, this is likely to align with that behavior as well. But the entire move to the downside did get filled here. And then we have Nikkei. Nikkei also big move to the upside. Again, prices into resistance, coming up into resistance here. So keep an eye on that. 30,370 is the level to watch. If it fails to go through, we are again back into the range here. So it's become range bound over the last few days. So we may see the move back into the range. Now, should it go through 30,370, then we are looking at 30,600 and potentially higher. So right now, bullish bias with caution though. So the main level to watch here will be 30,370. As long as it holds below, it's back into the range. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll be back on Sunday with our weekly analysis. Bye for now.